It is Direct Mail Monday, February 8th, 2021. Steve Sipress here. I believe we're live on Direct Mail Monday, February 8th, 2021. Received this postcard today in the mail, and I said, what a great example of the well-known saying in the world of smart marketers, ugly sells. Ugly sells. I know you get a lot of stuff and you see a lot of websites, a lot of ads, and you get a lot of stuff in the mail or in your email or whatever, and oh, it's made to look pretty. Like these emails with these big fancy things on the top, these headers, so you can't even have to scroll down to even start reading the email. How annoying. I end up practically, I mean, I'm in a bad mood just getting to start to read the thing. I end up just jettisoning most of them just when I see that big, oh, it's pretty, but it doesn't do anything. It doesn't convey information. The way to convey information is to convey information. So here's an example of how to format a postcard or an email or anything else you're sending. You'll see that there is very little white space, almost no margins at all, and solid blocks of text after text after text on both sides. This is a lead generation piece. The idea is to attract someone into your marketing world so that you can communicate with them and get them to know you and know what you do and like you and trust you and see that you know what you're doing, to attract the lead. And one of the best lead magnets, as they're called, one of the best pieces of bait to attract the lead to you is to give away a free book. That is still pretty much the very best lead magnet there is, and I'll tell you why. So here is a company that has set up a subdomain on their website, www, the name of their company, /free book. Boom. And all there is on this postcard is words, 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 and a picture of the free book with the words free book on top of it. Free book exclamation point. And at the bottom of all this small print text, as much as they can possibly fit on there on a postcard. I mean, I could see, being in a room as they made the decision on this postcard. How small can we possibly make this type? Should we do it 6 point, 8 point? How small can we make it? How many words can we possibly fit in on this postcard? In other words, they said, man, if we make it 10 point, we can't fit as much. Let's make it smaller. But if it's too small, they can't read it. But the smart marketer wants to get as much information out as possible, especially when you're going to generate a lead. So the call to action at the bottom is get your free book today. Understand the word your. Get your free book, not get a free book, not get the free book, not get some free book. Get your free book. Give them ownership. Assume their ownership of your lead magnet. Get your free book. Boom. Claim your free copy of this book, Magnetic Marketing, it's called. Today, limited time offer expires in a couple of weeks, 18 days to be exact, right? So here's a couple of things. Why is a free book the very best lead magnet? Because when I was growing up, and I don't know if it's still around, but on the East Coast, New York, and maybe there's locations all over the East Coast. I think there was a clothing store, I believe it was, that would run commercials, and the owner would come on at the end, and he would say, "An educated consumer is our best customer." So I don't remember even the name of the thing or who he was or what they were selling or how much it was or what it looked like, but I remember that phrase. He said it at the end of every commercial. An educated consumer is our best customer. And you know what? If you run an excellent business, an educated consumer is your best customers, your best prospect, someone who's educated, who understands what you're doing and how to tell when someone does it well, how to tell when someone does it crappy, so they can make a decision, so they can understand and know almost instantly that you have an excellent product or service, that yours is an excellent business. The educated consumer would know that. They'd know the going rate for things. They'd know that you're charging a high premium price, which must mean you have premium great service. They would know that because they're an educated consumer. So an educated, a traveler, business traveler, for instance, does not check into the Motel 6 for 39 bucks for a crappy room. He checks into what he also doesn't usually check into the $500 a night suite, at the five-star Ritz-Carlton. He checks into a nicely priced 120, $150 a room in a nice, decent place. He's educated. He understands what's a high price, a low price, what's a crappy motel, what's a really beautiful resort hotel. That's where he goes privately on vacation. But for business travel, he's going to a nice, decent business hotel. He's educated consumer, right? There's my beautiful wife is an educated consumer of all kinds of things. I go with her into the supermarket and she knows exactly, boom, 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 I'm getting this, I'm getting this, I'm getting this. When she sends me, oh, can you pick up, whatever, it's a good thing they have cell phones because I got to call her and go like, okay, there's 47 varieties of the thing. Which one am I supposed to get? She's like, don't you know? It's always the same one that's in the cupboard. I'm like, no, I don't look at it. I'm not an educated consumer of kitchen items, of food products and whatever else is in the pantry, whatever you would call it up there, boxes and cans and bags of stuff and whatever. I'm not the educated consumer. So I freeze when I see 47 varieties. I don't even know what to get. I'd have to read all the labels, or I got to call, phone a friend, as the old Regis Philbin Who Wants to Be a Millionaire show, right? So I have my beautiful wife, Michelle. I call her up. Which one? Boom. Sometimes I'll ask someone who's walking by, or they'll ask me. They'll see me frozen and paralyzed in front of 400 different things, and I love it. They'll come over. They go, "Can I help you? Is there something you're looking for in particular?" Yeah, I'm supposed to get whatever. That's if I couldn't get a hold of my beautiful wife Michelle or whatever. I'm supposed to get. Oh yeah, there's four different kinds. This is the quickest one. This is the best one. This is for the price. This is reasonable. That one's overpriced. But an educated consumer can help you out. The educated consumer is your best prospect if you run an excellent business. If you have an excellent product or service, they'll be able to tell. Now, if you have a crappy or a somewhat or a so-so or we're okay type of business, please don't watch my videos. A lot of my stuff won't work for you anyway, but I don't want to help you out if you don't even care enough about people, about your customers, patients, members, clients, whatever you call them, to provide an excellent product or service. If you do, the educated consumer is your best customer. So educate them like crazy. As many words as you can possibly fit in on there without making them get out a magnifying glass for most people. To educate them, educate them, educate them. And here is the bonus tip why the lead magnet of the free book is the best. Because readers, people that like books, that like reading books, that like to consume information, are therefore the educated consumer who is your best prospect. So to entice people, to convince people, to get people, to sell people on the idea of getting a free book, which means if they want a book, they want lots of information, give them lots of information, lots of stuff to read. The person reads all this and goes, wow, that's a lot of good stuff to read. Now I want more. I want the book. And if they want the book, now a lot of times people will say, oh, Steve, no one's going to read all that. Well, it's not no one's going to read all that. Crappy prospects are not going to read all that. They don't want to be educated. That's like me going into a supermarket. I am a crappy prospect for a supermarket. I don't like going there. I don't go there a lot. I don't think about it when I'm not there. I don't know anything about anything. My beautiful wife Michelle is like, oh, I got a coupon for that, or she'll see an ad for some. She'll go, oh yeah, 69 cents a pound for that. That's too much. This is a what? She's an educated consumer. She enjoys that. She loves it. She loves putting together all kinds of different ingredients and making great stuff and coming up with new things. Like she's the educated consumer. She wants all that information. She would want to read the little cards in front of all the food, like when she goes to the Whole Food or the Trader Joe. You want to read all that stuff. I don't. I don't want to read all that stuff, but I do want to read about making money in business. So for the business owner, this is to discover the simple three-step system to attract more customers, clients, patients, or members. Similar phrase I just said. Who pay, stay, and refer. Boom! Get your free book on how to do all that, right? Possibly in the book itself, it will tell you when you make up a postcard, when you're make it up like this, little picture of the book, but then as much information you can get. And if you want to attract the very best prospect is the educated prospect. Educate them and offer them a book. Because if they say, "Oh, I don't want to read a book," then they're not going to be your best prospect. You're going to have to now spend a long time in sales pitch, have your salesman sit out there for an hour educating them, showing them through a pitch book. Oh, look here and there, and this is the story, and this is why, and let me give you a sample and whatever. Like, you know, I've been selling, meeting with customers, clients, patients, members, prospects for decades. I love the one that says, "Look, don't give me the whole thing. Just get right to the point. How much? What is it?" Boom. That's the educated buyer, the B2B, the commercial buyer. I love dealing with business owners or business, people that are running a certain department or whatever, the decision maker, someone who's an educated buyer. We can have a great conversation. They can go, "Why do you do it this way? Why does it take 3 days to deliver? It ought to take two." Oh, then I can explain that we have a proprietary process with how the thing is made, or an extra quality control, or we leave it overnight to check it again, or what, and that person will appreciate that. He or she will go, "Oh, that makes sense." So it's worth getting an extra day because now I know that you're taking your time, you're doing it right, we can have a great conversation. So, free book is the way to attract the very best prospect, the educated consumer who will be your best customer. And you want to sell them on getting the free book, include lots of information. Yeah, most people won't pay attention to that, but most people don't read books. I read something once, it said something like, I don't know, 90% of people never read an entire book after they graduate high school or college or whatever school they graduate. Like, that's it. They're done with books. Like, I happen to love books. I buy books all the time. I certainly buy a lot more books than I read. I think I want to read them. They look great, then they pile up. I'm like, oh yeah, a lot of books to get to. I got shelves and shelves of books. I love books on the topics I like, right? So I have hundreds and hundreds of books on business, on sales, on marketing, on growth of business. I love that stuff. I eat it up. I'll read every word of this kind of thing. I am the best prospect for a company that's trying to get me to pay them money to help me with marketing and sales and growth of a business. Okay, that's about it for today. Hope you got that point. I hammered it home and repeated it about 47 times. And Phil is here. Always love seeing you, Phil, on Direct Mail Mondays. A little different, says Phil, in that I didn't use it as a lead magnet, but that first book we did in your Chicago group got me a massive program with a client I had been romancing for years, tipped it right in. Way to go. So you could have, I gave away, this was a book that Phil and I think 9 other authors all contributed a chapter into that book. And then we put a big campaign together and the book became a bestseller. So now everyone, Phil and every other co-author is a best-selling author for the rest of their lives. No one can take that away. But they are an author of a book, which says a lot. They position themselves as an expert and sets them apart from other people vying for the business. In this case, I know, Phil, you've told the story that this prospect was, you were romancing them for years, and the prospect was talking to all kinds of other people that provide the same or similar or same category of a deliverable that you did. And when you slid that book across the table to them, as you told me, that sealed the deal. They were like, well, clearly we have to go with him. He's the expert. He wrote the book on the subject. Now, you could have, well, I did. I gave hundreds of copies of that book away. I think, yeah, as I look behind me, there it is. There is the framed copy of that book on the wall right there. It is called Ultimate Entrepreneur Success Secrets. Published back in 2000, I don't know, 2011 maybe, and then we did volume 2, Ultimate Entrepreneur Success Secrets Volume 2. I know, Phil, you were in there also. I think you had 2 chapters in that one, a couple of years later. And I have given away and still give away hundreds of copies of those as lead magnets, as introductions to who I am. It's got me onto radio, TV, podcast stages, got me introductions to people, it positions me as the expert. So you could have done that, and you still could. You could print up 100 copies and mail them all out to top prospects. You can mail them out to top podcast hosts who host podcasts to you, the audience where your top prospects hang out and like listening to that podcast, or to everyone that is the producer of a local morning TV show in your area, the 5 or 6 morning shows. Man, they got to cover 2, 3, 4 hours a day. Believe me, they love to have an expert come on, especially if you position yourself as timely, as topical, as saying, ooh, this is in the news. Well, I have this to say about it. They want to bring you on, and often, here's a copy of my book, seals the deal. You'll see a lot of times on TV shows or on radio or on podcasts, the author of. They love to bring on someone who's the author of, positions you as the expert. Anyway, so the book is a great thing. Now, here's another bonus tip. Even if you haven't written a book or even written a chapter in a book that's been published, you can give away someone else's book. Still the very best lead magnet to say, here is a book on, if you were a financial advisor, here's a book on how to save for retirement, or The Millionaire Next Door, or some book. I'm going to give you this book. I want you thinking about this. Boom. Now, some of them would tell you, well, I'm not reading all that book. Not the best prospect for you. The best prospect for you as a financial advisor is someone who loves reading about financial advice. So they read the different magazines, and they've got some of their money with one and some with another and some with another. They're willing to put a few $100,000 with you and see how you can do with it. So you can explain what you do. They'll know what you do. They'll ask smart questions about it. They'll ask intelligent things about it. They'll be your best client. Okay. That's enough for Direct Mail Monday. Thanks again for being here, Phil, and contributing. I don't see, unless I missed them, any other comments, questions, concerns. If you have them and you're watching the replay, just post them as a comment wherever you're watching this, listening to it, or reading it in all the various formats that I put it out all over the place. I always respond when appropriate. Love when you come on live and we can interact. Always good to see you, Phil, and everybody else here. Thanks for being here. I'll be back again tomorrow. It'll be Topical Tuesday. Speaking of topical, I will pull something out of the news and teach some business lessons based on that. Hope you'll join me then. Thanks for being here today. Got to click this thing twice. I just realized I almost said goodbye, but I got to get ready to click this before I can say goodbye. So over and out.